I will always be able to say is if I'm coming down the stretch and trying to win the tournament is I can tell myself I've literally done this before here.
Justin Thomas thinks he's got a leg up this week, having already won the PGA at Quail Hollow, but so many other players feel the exact same way about their game. It's going to be madness this week. How do you handicap this place, especially with the new course conditions? A lot of rain within 2 days. Who is going to have the best chance to win in perhaps new conditions? We have boots on the ground for the PGA Championship. Picks and predictions are coming up. Chris Brees here in the studios at Ponte Vedra Beach. We have Will Gray and Casey Johnston up there. Guys, you're in the elements downpour here on a Tuesday.
Chris, I will tell you, it has been 9 years since I lost a pair of shoes to a major championship. That was the 2016 U.S. Open at Oakmont. I feel like we're dangerously close to getting there here at Quail Hollow. We have got a ton of rain so far. Thankfully, for fans, if you're on site or watching at home, it does look like the forecast is going to dry out a little bit once the tournament starts. But, man, we are dealing with, Casey, a soft condition course.
Yeah, I mean, there was rain all day yesterday, and the stuff that we felt move in today was vicious. I mean, that 18th fairway was a swimming pool. So even when they dried out, there's still going to be soft conditions this week. So hopefully it holds up for the rest of the week, but it's been a wet start for sure.
All right, well, suddenly everyone's talking about a soggy golf course. Is it a bomber's paradise now? Is it going to play different? What do you think about that in terms of what we thought was going to be fast conditions? Does that change, do you think, now?
I think it's definitely going to be a little bit different than what we saw in 2017, the first time the PGA Championship was here at Quail Hollow in Charlotte. Remember, that was when they were still playing the PGA in August. So it was hotter. It was a little bit more dry conditions as opposed to now you're in the springtime in May. You know, Jordan Spieth joked last week at Philly Cricket Club that we're heading to Rory McIlroy Country Club here at Quail Hollow. He's such a storyline. Coming off that Masters win, having won 4 times here before, it's a course that really sets up well and fits his eye. And I think that the soft conditions only play more into those trends and tendencies. But this is definitely going to be a course where, you know, it's a similar handicap, I think, for me to last week, where I need to start off the tee. I need to start with driver in hand because there are so many of these holes that are going to be tough to get to in a par 71 layout. But even still, the longest hitters can take more aggressive lines. They can take different sight lines, cut some corners, fly some bunkers. And it really is going to make a material difference this week if you can carry it 310, 315 versus 295.
Casey, you were out there yesterday when the downpour really happened. You couldn't even go on the course because it was closed to everybody. What have you seen in terms of how soggy the rough is? Because that's going to be the issue. These guys getting out of that rough now once they get in it.
Yeah, it was wet. I mean, and today before the rain came, even today too, it was cloudy, and then more rain came in. So, you know, it just absorbed more of that. It's going to be interesting to see with some of these shorter hitters, not just in the rough as well, but they're not going to get as much run out on these fairways. And hopefully, you know, when they're looking for maybe not the full distance on the carry, but they maybe get a little run on their drives, they may not see that as much on the fairways as well. So I'm curious if these soft conditions actually play even more into the bombers and allow them to take even a bit more of advantage when they're not getting as much run out, but that carry is still going to help them when they're clearing some of these longer fairways.
And here's the thing about when we talk about these bombers, those are usually the players who were the stars. And we kind of looked at the past leaderboards at the PGA Championship. It's littered with superstar talent. So, Will, we have a bombers golf course. We have a superstar golf course. Superstars win at Quail Hollow. We know that. And now we have a superstar championship. But we have 2 at the top who are the big superstars. What do you think about this board at the top?
I mean, I like the looks of it. I'm looking at it. I'm trying to run the numbers. I feel like you get about a 50 or 60% chance that the winner of this tournament is one of these 6 guys, just because it's such a skill set that really distinguishes itself. Certainly, it's 1A and 1B with Schauffele and Rory at the top. We've seen Scotty Scheffler has been the betting favorite at so many majors in a row. Then Rory won the Masters, and he became the betting favorite for the PGA. And then all of a sudden, Scotty tied the PGA Tour scoring record at the Nelson, and now he's jumped back in ahead. And it really depends on where you shop, who might have a little bit of an edge, but certainly those 2 are on a tier unto themselves. And we've already seen early in the week a lot of money, a lot of actions coming in on Bryson, who's kind of distinguished himself as that third option before you get to the rest of the crew in that 20-1 range. And listen, there's no one on that board that you can sit there on Sunday and see them sipping out of the Wanamaker Trophy and say that you're surprised to see that they've got the victory.
I think a week like this, we're hearing a lot about the storylines. And if you look at these 6 guys, you have enough storylines across these 6 guys to fill an entire major field. I mean, with Scotty fresh off a win and how he's playing, Rory freed up, Bryson's fresh off a win on Liv, JT going for PJ number 3 fresh off a win, Xander trying to repeat. I mean, the storylines are everywhere, and we're looking at just the top 6 guys there, so definitely suiting up to be an exciting week with this field.
There's going to be a lot of swings and momentum changes in handle. We saw Bryson DeChambeau went from, 1,400 down to 700 just today, Casey?
2 days. Sunday he was 1,400.
Jeez.
He is now 700 live today on FanDuel. Bananas, and he's pushing 30% of the handle in total. It's crazy the money that was poured in on him, and that kind of movement across 2 days is serious. So those people that got on Bryson tickets last week are feeling pretty good about themselves. Right?
Well, we got some numbers from DraftKings today. They're all over Bryson and Keith Mitchell for top 10s and top 20s. So it got us thinking about, all these stars who people are betting on. DraftKings actually has some pretty good markets out there this week if you want to do something a little different. How about a top 20 featured parlay this week? We're going to go with one that features Rory McIlroy in it. We have a bunch from DraftKings. Go check it out on their website. Guys, what do you think about these two? Will, you start. Rory in a basically 3-way parlay for a top 20 with which 2 of these categories do you think?
Chris, I'm going to answer your question with a question. You know the last time Xander Schauffele finished outside the top 20 at a major championship?
2020?
2022 Masters.
Wow.
He has 12 straight top 20s. The guy won this tournament last year, but he's been so consistent in the majors and on the biggest stages. So I feel like that's a slam dunk. And then give me Victor Hovland, who has finished inside the top 3 at this event each of the last 2 years at Oak Hill and Valhalla. He won earlier this year at Valspar. I think he's going to pop up once again, as we saw last year in Kentucky. So plus 550. I would take this group straight up over the group on the right, but now I'm getting another $100 on my return. Sign me up.
You're not worried about Hovland's ball striking right now with last week being kind of an issue?
Oh, I'm always worried about Hovland's ball striking. There's no way to guarantee that you're going to get a good Victor Hovland week, but sometimes you have to take a little bit of risk on it, Chris. This is a plus 550 return. So I think those 3 definitely have the firepower to get – listen, we're not talking about top 5s or top 10s.
Right.
We're talking top 20s. I think they're all going to make the cut, and anyone on this weekend is going to be dangerous to get into that top 20 by the time you get to Sunday.
Bullish.
Chris, my mind kind of floats where your mind's at. When I look at those 6 names, it feels like home run, and Hovland.
Ooh.
So I'm a little worried about where he's coming. It's just so volatile with that guy. So I lean the other way. I lean McIlroy, DeChambeau, Oberg. Obviously, you're losing out a little bit on the odds there, but I'm happy losing out a little bit of the odds when I feel a lot more confident in which way I'm going. He could come up just like you said. He's had those great performances here. But Hovland, I don't know. He's got a lot going on. He's hitting alien podcasts. I'm a little worried about him at the moment. Let's lock in on the guys that have been hitting home runs.
I know why you are so confident in that one on the right. It's because you got a winner in this group, Casey.
That's right. I'm feeling great about Ludwig entering the week. Like I said earlier, this is a huge storylines week between Scotty, Rory, JT, Bryson, Xander, all that. And even at the 6 shortest odds, I feel like he's flying under the radar. And not only that, this course suits up really well for him. He's 10th in strokes gained off the tee this year. And like we said, we know those bombers. He's averaging around 315 yards off the tee. But his iron play is what needs to lock in. It's been a bit shaky this year. Some up and down weeks with his iron play. I think he's losing strokes approach the green right now, which is just unheard of for him. That is not the type of game we've seen him play. But he loves the big stage. He's got a signature event win this year. He's top 10 at the Masters. Let's see him lock back in on a major stage, flying under the radar. He's having a low stakes early week. A lot of the attention and heavy questions aren't coming his way. So let's see him go out there, dial in those irons, and I think he could have a huge week. And we'll see him get win number 2 in a big year for him.
So we may have history repeating itself on the Golfbet front if Ludwig ends up winning, because it was, as we all know, last year, heading into the PGA, our guy, Ben Everill, was all over Xander. He had one bad round at Wells Fargo for at Quail Hollow, and he was off him, and then he said Rory's going to win, and Xander wins. I was on Ludwig last week. I thought everything was lined up for Ludwig at Philly Cricket Club. All those same metrics that, Casey, you pointed out were sitting right at check on my list. And then he goes and finishes like 61st out of 70 guys. So I'm off him this week. And now, if we have this run back again, where I'm bailing him all the time, just like Ben did a year ago, maybe it can become a real bit for the PGA Championship. Yeah, I'm going the other way, though. Listen, I don't know that I'm used to living in a world where the defending champion is flying under the radar, but that's definitely what we have here this week with Xander Schauffele. Plus 2,200 is a mind-boggling price for a guy who, as we've said, is so good in the major championships. Won 2 of them last year. Every monkey is off of his back. He doesn't have any of the pressure that he had at this tournament a year ago. Scotty and Rory are eating up all of the oxygen in the room this week with Rory completing the Grand Slam and Scotty doing Scotty things. And I think Xander is trending in the right direction. He was slow to start coming off that rib injury, but the last 3 or 4 starts, really since the Masters, he started to show signs of the former Xander that we knew in the middle of 2024. And so, listen, plus 2,200 is not a price that I'm used to seeing for Xander at a major. I don't think it's going to be one that we see for the remaining 2 majors, especially if he plays as well as I expect him to this week. The course at Quail Hollow is asking a lot of the same questions that Valhalla did for players, and I think that Xander had all the answers last year. I think he's going to have the answers again this week.
Will, I love that you brought up Ben's issue last year, because that is literally exactly why I am picking Justin Thomas this week, because I wanted to pick JT for a while. Even before he won an RBC the week after the Masters, I watched him at the Masters. I'm thinking, I want to pick this guy at the PGA. He wins the RBC. I'm not thrilled about it, because you know how it goes with winning and then winning again. Then he plays really good again, and then he gets to Truist. And I'm worried about the way he's hitting the driver, and I still kind of am, but then I thought about Ben's thing, where I said, I like a guy. Why am I talking myself out of Justin Thomas?
There's so much to like about what JT has right now. I really think that the win at Heritage turned it around for him, and he was a guy that you could tell that the nearly 3-year victory drought was wearing on him, and he was trying to figure out, especially after losing Valspar to Victor Hovland, who none of you have faith in. It got in his head of, what do I need to do to get a victory? And so now that he's got that win, he played so well, just kind of a little bit short last week at Philly. He is absolutely someone that I think is on that short list, deserves to be among those 5 or 6 top favorites as he looks for PGA number 3.
And Chris, trying to talk yourself out of a bet's just being thorough. You're just being thorough with your research. That's all that is. You want to try to talk yourself out of everything. If you still want it, go with it.
The gut's the gut. I mean, you got to take it for what it is, right? Casey, I was a little perplexed at the odds you've got here on Jordan Spieth for a top 10, because what we've seen from him, wildly inconsistent. We don't know what this guy's going to do from day to day, but tell me why you like this top 10 for him.
Yeah, listen, the 360 is not great. I know that, but there was part of me that kind of wanted to go with him for an outright. But I think he makes like a really valiant effort this week. But in true Jordan Spieth fashion, I think we're going to see a lot of volatility. So he's going to have a lot of ups, but in his game, we're going to see those down. So I kind of tried to find a middle market there. I like him outright, but I just don't think he's going to come. I think he's going to come up a little bit short. So let's go to the top 10 market. Obviously at plus 360, if you start going to the top 20, you might be in minus money at that point. I didn't even check the top 20 once I saw plus 360, top 10. So I wanted to get Spieth on my card. I feel like he's going to make a really good run, but I think he's going to come up just short with some of those volatile holes that he's bound to have. So wanted to get him on the card. We'll run with him top 10. Real quick, just as a caveat, Keith Mitchell, first round leader. Wanted to throw that out there as well.
Oh, okay. Doing it again. The reason why I say that, Will, is because I like your number on your top 10. I think it's better than Jordan Spieth's. I'm sorry.
Listen, instead of going high variance with Jordan Spieth, I'm going for Steady Eddie from north of the border with Cory Conners, who just chucks up top T11s and T17s, and he can put it all together. As we know, struggles a little bit on the greens when it comes to crunch time. But man, he's one of the best drivers in the golf ball on the PGA Tour this year. The strokes gained stats are really jumping off the page. And again, this is a course where I think what you do off the tee and with driver in hand is going to be really critically important. So plus 500 for a top 10 for a guy who was in the mix at this tournament 8 years ago when the PGA was here back in August. And I think that he's shown coming in off of a T11 at the Truist, and he's been hanging out on the fringes of leaderboards early in 2025. I think he absolutely has the firepower, tee green especially, to contend and make it onto that first page of the leaderboard and catch a pretty good ticket.
Before we go, I want to do something fun with mine. I'm going to kind of do a little mix here with my best bet, something new this week for the PGA, because I think Tommy Fleetwood and Patrick Cantlay are identical players right now, you guys. Do I think they're going to win this week? No, I don't. Top 10? Probably not, maybe. But what about a top 20 for both of these players? They're each hitting the ball very well. Their stats are very good everywhere you look. No deficiencies in either one of their games. And they've both been playing well lately. And we have some very good results from Fleetwood recently. I don't need him to be on the first page of the leaderboard or Cantlay. I think both these guys top 20. You parlay it, Casey, plus 550.
Pretty good. I like that as well. I mean, like you said, they've showed some pretty good form this year, Fleetwood especially. But when you hear those two names, that does scare me as you get closer to the top of the leaderboard. So I like where you're going with the top 20s. Let's get a little safer with those guys. Cantlay, I wouldn't be surprised if he made a big splash this week. It really wouldn't shock me. Also wouldn't shock me if he had a really tough week as well. So I like you finding the middle ground with the top 20. Fleetwood, I think, is going to keep performing strong. He's one that you want to see break through. It's almost feeling like, does he just not have the breakthrough? He's always up there. He's always at the top, especially this year. He's in the mix. But, I like hammering him just to come up short and find his way in that top.
Internally, Will's shaking his head, no way.
No. I'm going the other way. I really think that of the two, I would choose Fleetwood. I think Fleetwood, we had a meeting on Monday, and we went through, haven't seen them. So I think that this is one where plus 150 for a top 20 is really interesting for a guy who I believe has one finish worse than T22 all year long. So you can have Patrick Cantlay at plus 160. I'll take Fleetwood at plus 150 and take my chances.
Wow, look at that. Yeah, don't parlay it then, because you take Cantlay, you've completely ruined the entire parlay. All right, guys, I know there's weather up there. We've got issues, technical things. We're going to do our best throughout the week to give the folks the best and most up-to-date information on all things betting this week. And good luck to everybody on their bets at the PGA Championship.